There is a voice within each of us, subtle, yet persistent, that whispers truths we often ignore. This inner voice, this intuitive knowing, is what many have called the sixth sense. It is not a sense confined to the physical realm like sight or hearing. Rather, it is the delicate blending of all experience, emotion, and higher understanding, a gift that, when nurtured, becomes our most trusted guide through uncertainty. The book The Sixth Sense invites us on a profound inward journey to rediscover this silent compass, the one that lives beyond logic, beyond fear, and beyond external noise. To understand the sixth sense is to recognize that there exists a part of us attuned to realities we cannot see. It is the inner signal that tells us when something isn't right, even when everything looks fine. It's the nudge we feel when a decision must be made, and somehow, the answer comes without thinking. It is that force which has guided inventors, mystics, leaders, and even ordinary people through extraordinary moments. This sense is neither mystical nor magical in the traditional sense. It is the culmination of our subconscious mind, heightened awareness, accumulated wisdom, and spiritual alignment. The book suggests that the sixth sense is not a supernatural gift reserved for a few, but a human capacity dormant in many of us. What holds us back from accessing it is not a lack of ability, but a lack of trust. We have been trained to favor facts over feelings, logic over intuition, and certainty over inner knowing. And so, we ignore the still small voice within, and in doing so, we lose our connection to the part of us that truly sees. There is a story within the book, not of a single person, but of every person. It is the story of awakening. It begins with disconnection, with individuals living their lives following the conventional path, making decisions with the mind, chasing security, and relying solely on external measures of truth. But then something shifts. Perhaps it is a moment of crisis, the loss of a job, a betrayal, a deep emotional wound, or perhaps it is a moment of awe, like watching a child sleep or standing under a starlit sky. In this moment, something deeper stirs. The person realizes there is more. They begin to question. They begin to listen. This transformation is not dramatic in the outward sense, but it is radical within. They start noticing patterns, coincidences that feel like messages, dreams that carry meaning, gut feelings that prove accurate. The more they lean into these experiences, the more they discover a source of wisdom that is calm, quiet, but always right. They are no longer guided by fear, but by faith, not blind faith in something external, but a deep-rooted trust in their inner voice. The book teaches that to awaken the sixth sense, one must cultivate stillness. In the silence, the noise of the world fades, and the whispers of the soul emerge. Meditation, solitude, walks in nature, and moments of reflection, these become the gateways through which intuition speaks. And as we begin to notice and act on this inner guidance, a beautiful cycle begins. Intuition is followed, life aligns more gracefully, confidence grows, and the sense strengthens. But this journey is not without challenge. The world often discourages this path. Logic is celebrated, intuition dismissed. And so, the book reminds us, to follow the sixth sense is an act of courage. It is to walk a path that may not make sense to others. It is to turn down a job because something doesn't feel right, even when the pay is high. It is to leave a relationship that looks perfect from the outside but feels empty within. It is to take a leap toward a dream no one else sees, simply because you know, deep inside, that it is meant for you. One profound insight the book offers is that the sixth sense is deeply connected to our emotions. Emotions are not just reactions, they are information. Fear, when not based on danger, may signal misalignment. Joy is often a compass pointing us toward our truest path. Unease can be a message from our deeper self, asking us to pause and listen. When we numb or override our feelings, we also mute our intuitive voice. Therefore, emotional honesty and self-awareness are essential to intuition. The more we embrace our full emotional range, the more clearly we hear our inner truth. The sixth sense also thrives in humility. When we acknowledge that we do not, and cannot, know everything with the rational mind, we become more open to the unknown. In this space of not knowing, intuition has room to speak. This is where miracles happen, not in the rigid plans we create, but in the openness we allow. The book also reminds us that the sixth sense is not meant to replace the rational mind, but to complement it. Logic helps us survive, intuition helps us thrive. Logic sees what is, Intuition senses what can be. Logic asks, what's the evidence? Intuition asks, what's the truth behind the evidence? Together, they create a harmony that allows for decisions that are both wise and aligned. Perhaps the most powerful message in the book is that intuition leads us to our soul's purpose. It gently guides us toward the work, relationships, and experiences that are in harmony with our deepest calling. It does not always lead to comfort, but it always leads to truth. And in that truth, we find meaning. Real-life stories bring these insights to life. A woman ignores the advice of her friends and family to take a corporate job and instead opens a wellness studio in her small town. Everyone doubted her, except her own heart. A few years later, her studio becomes a sanctuary not just for her, but for the community. A man feels drawn to reach out to an estranged brother one night. He doesn't know why, but when he does, he finds his brother on the verge of giving up, and his call becomes the turning point. A young artist feels a pull to move to a different city with no clear plan, only a feeling. That move leads to the very opportunity that changes her life. These aren't coincidences. They are the results of people trusting their inner voice. And though each story is different, they all share one thread: the decision to listen. The book invites us not to look outside for signs, but within. It calls us to become still, to observe, to trust what arises. It teaches us that the sixth sense is not about predicting the future, but about aligning with the present so deeply that the next right step becomes clear. It is not a shortcut around struggle, but a light through the darkness. In today's world, filled with distractions, noise, and external pressure, the sixth sense is not just a luxury, but a necessity. It is how we return to ourselves. It is how we discern what is true in a world full of noise. It is how we find peace when the mind is anxious. It is how we remember who we are. As you walk forward from the pages of this book, remember this: the voice you seek already lives inside you. It has always been there, through every decision, every moment of hesitation, every spark of knowing. It may have been buried under doubt or drowned out by noise, but it has never left you. It is yours, and it is sacred. Trust it. When a path feels right, even if no one else understands, trust it. When a feeling tells you to wait, to pause, to listen, trust it. When something inside says, this is not for you, even when the world says it is, trust it. The sixth sense is not a mystery to be solved. It is a part of you waiting to be remembered. And once you do, life will begin to unfold not just with direction, but with depth. Decisions will feel lighter, because they'll be aligned. Relationships will feel more honest, because they'll be rooted in truth. And your path, though uncertain to others, will feel utterly certain to you. In the end, the sixth sense is not just a book. It is an invitation to listen, to trust, to awaken. It is a call back home to yourself, where your greatest wisdom has always been waiting. And if you choose to follow that call, you may just discover that the guidance you've been seeking has been inside you all along, calm, quiet, and unwavering.